Hello people, my name is Rage, and welcome one and all to Blade and Jiggle Fizz Soul. Blade and Soul, it's Blade and Soul. This is a thing. It's a very recent, at least in the West, MMORPG with a massive focus on intense combo-based action combat and a PvP scene. Now, this has been out for a few years in its home country, and it actually has a esports scene surrounding its PvP, so that instantly gets my interest. I love MMOs, I love flashy spells and animations, and I love PvP, so this game seemingly is a match made in heaven. Now, as a quick TLDR, as I jump off here, and that was the daintiest little, as I fell up. No, I need to show you. Okay, no, I absolutely need to show you what that would have looked like. And yes, you can do badass kung fu, like martial art parkour. We have the power, and you can also glide freely, because why the hell not? What I wanted to do was, and there we go, and then just start lovely gliding in my blizzard of magic. Either way, there we go. So yeah, I'll be upfront about you. Every part of this game that isn't PvP and the combat is kind of 7 years ago, average and very vanilla, and it's not too great, but we'll get to that as we go through this. Let's have a little bit of fun, a little bit of an explore, and hopefully you'll see a bit more Blade and Soul. So this is my character. I am a Force Master. Towards the end of the video, I'll show you the classes and the races so you can get a feel for that. And the one thing I will say is the actual models that they have made. If we, for example, go into the wardrobe where you can keep all of your lovely costumes, and we just click on a few of them at random, you oh, we'll not talk about that one. There is some very, generally speaking, well-designed armor, depending on what you're into and everything. Oh, that kind of sheriff armor does look really cool, to be fair. And obviously the male armor is equally as awesome, if maybe not as revealing. That is a giant nosed face on my shoulder. Why would you want that? But for the most part, okay. Oh, God. Oh, Blade and Soul. For the most part, everything is animated very well, modeled very well, and anything player-centric is very polished and easily top 3 visually-wise out of any MMO I've played, and this game easily is competing for the best combat and PvP in any MMO I've played. I mean, the environment itself, we've got a lovely little forest, the light shafts going through. I mean, occasionally you have the world's blurriest rock, but it's not a big deal. We're in an MMO. Things like that can very much be forgiven. The environments in general, yeah, you know, they're not bad. So you get around everywhere by sprinting to your heart's content, which does look badass. Who doesn't like a little bit of Naruto sprinting every now and then? Obviously, you can jump into the air. I mean, I'm only level 13, about 7 hours into the game. 45 is the cap currently, though a patch will bring it to 50, and there is a lot of abilities and a lot of cool stuff you end up getting. But let's not bog you down with complications yet. As you can see, there's only 6 abilities on my bars, even though I have access to like 40 of them, so how's that gonna work? Well, that's the very neat thing with this action combat system. But first we'll head through here. These little portals, they don't do a loading screen, but they do separate little instanced areas, so it's kind of a happy median between sectioning them off, but not breaking immersion completely with loading screens. So the main golden quest here that you take to level 45 has actually got voice acting.
Oh, there you are. What have you learned about Jin Sa-Yun from the Char Coalition?
Now, it's not great voice acting.
If I was a betting man, I'd say that means Jin Sa-Yun is in the
So we're not going to worry about it too much, but the actual NPC interaction screen, it's fine. You occasionally get thought bubbles that pop up that tell you what it is they're thinking. You get this little animation, and you know, it's a little bit more interactive. Yeah, look, there you go, the thought bubbles, you get an insight into what's going on, and to be fair, if you care enough to, well, care about the story, you can generally get quite a nice little output from it. And, you know, it's not bad. It's not going to win any awards for its story, nothing like that, but it's serviceable. It is. They've added a few bells and whistles to really ramp up what inherently is go here, kill six things, collect 5 Bortus, and bring it back. And, you know, it's appreciated. It really is, because they could have easily left it as boring as hell quest that is carried by the combat system, and it very much is carried by the combat system. We'll acquire his as well, there you go. And the thing is, there is NPCs like this in villages everywhere that are simply here to breathe a little bit more life into the world, that things are actually moving. It's not just statues stood around some buildings. So again, little things like that are nice. It's not mind-blowing, it's not great, it's not crazy, but it's, you know, okay, you're not going to feel completely artificial, and that's enough for a lot of people when it comes to an MMO. So we've got a lot of kill quests here, and what better way than to show you, well, how awesome it is to kill someone. Now, I probably will do, if I continue playing this game long enough, I will probably do a video on PvP, but for now, trust me that it's amazing. The entire game is balanced around 1v1 intense PvP that's like an elaborate game of combo-based rock, paper, scissors, and it's just, it's fantastic. I got to level 35 in the... This guy's like, fight me! Fight me! Why won't you... why won't you fight me? I just want to kill you! Not today, my friend. Not today. I did get to level 35 on a Russian server months and months ago, and believe me when I say the PvP is off the hizzy. So I'm a Force Master, which means I'm the magical class. The rest are all Kung Fu-y sword type people. So I've got my basic fire at you. And what's cool is the combat system is set in such a way that if I'm good enough, I can literally not get hit at any point. Now, granted, I don't need to be that good. Damn. Fortunately, I blocked. I don't need to be that good to not get hit by this guy, as he's got very slow attacks, but there is no such thing as just an auto attack, or an attack that is going to hit you. The closest is my sort of targeting reticule fireball that I'm firing here, but you've got to imagine this against another player, and you can do cool stuff like pick people up, light a fire underneath them, then pow them down into it, and it kind of slaughters fools. It really, really does. Let's head on over to here, see if we can't get another one of these to have a go at. We need to kill a whole 3 of them. Yes, we do. But yeah, this is basically as in-depth as the questing gets. There are occasional set pieces, like here's a flamethrower, burn down a load of fungus zombies, which is kind of fun, but it's not... Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Basically, PvE, not great. So I also have this ice dragon, which actually forms the dragon that then falls apart. I have this, which marks the floor with the outline of the fire dragon, which is lovely. I've got this little pa-ching, pa-ching, pa-ching. So why do I love the combat system so much? Apart from how active and mobile it is, it's how it interacts and seamlessly synergizes with your various abilities. So, for example, as a Force Master here, I have fire and ice stance. So I start with my basic abilities, and for example, if I'm in the air, my left click becomes throw free magic missiles instead of fire. If I use a fire ability, I'm now in fire stance, which lets me do things like grow a little fire flower on his head, which will explode in a few seconds, lets me do things like put fire on the ground, whereas if I use a frost ability, I'm now in frost stance, which lets me do things like freeze him on the spot as a statue. Like, how cool does that look? And this is only the tip of the iceberg very early on in the game. This stuff gets very, very complicated, and then can throw him away and then chase him up with some follow-up abilities. If I've got ice and do my little zap, then he gets stunned. If I've got fire and do my little stab, then he gets exploded. There's loads and loads of unique little interactions between all your abilities, different conditions for them being triggered, different ways to combo between them, that when you're fighting another player, it's like a ballet of who can counter who can find the weakness first, who can find the opening first, who can make that play happen and start doing some good damage, and it actually does feel like you are having a fight with someone. A lot of MMOs in PvP, it's I'm pressing my buttons at you, hopefully harder than you can do at me, and there's not a great amount of thought, but tactics play a big deal in this game. Just a little insert that I realized I totally wanted to talk about, but then completely kind of forgot as we casually stroll around. Oh, we're back to running. That's so sad. I was doing the suavest run ever, as I am now a little bit further on in a much more beautiful area. I mean, look at this. Is this not a nice little step up from the dark, gloomy woods, these mountains everywhere? I mean, it is very cool to look at some of these set pieces. Either way, what I wanted to go over was the actual depth of the skill customization and build, because I go on to explain why the actual fighting is so in-depth and awesome, but I kind of forgot this a little bit. Can I actually interact with these? No, they are immortal! Ha ha ha! Also, as well, before we go into that, do you want to see something that's just really cool? You can just straight up sprint across the surface of water. Is that not really badass? I mean, it's so kind of needless, but it's just really, really awesome. And then when you run out of energy, plop, down we go. Alright, so what I wanted to show you is the skill trees that go to every single ability. Well, most of them. Some of them don't. But the fact that every single ability that you can get, again, most of them, has these branching trees that you can put points into that you earn via leveling up is actually quite ridiculous, because you get nowhere near enough points to get everything, and you have to make a very real choice as to what you end up wanting to fully customize your character to be the exact way that you want. So, for example, I can turn my Dragon Char, which is the dragon on the ground, into a freaking Ice Rain ability, or an actual beam of fire, which is pretty cool, and there is a lot of different stuff you can end up with. A good example then is Inferno, which is your classic fireball. Now this has 3 trees. You can keep its high damage, you can reduce its cooldown, make it a little bit more boomy, and just end up with a good solid fireball. Or you can go to the right, and now it's a 3 meter wide AoE, but its cooldown is raised massively, and it does a little bit less damage, but it pierces the defense. And then it's a little bit more effective, and then it ends up adding a fire dot as well at the max level. Or you go down to the middle one, which lets you have a massive booming fire attack based on your stacks of your fire. It makes it an instant cast instead of having to stand there for 2 seconds, but does raise its cooldown. And you've got to make these decisions as you go through it. This one, for example, lets you get a free instant crit one if the conditions are met. So just this one skill gives you many options to customize how you want to fight, and that's really cool, and it's a lot of fun to theory craft your builds around your stats and your playstyle. Now, admittedly, there might be some cookie cutter just best ones, but for the most part, it's very in-depth, very organic, and you can very much tailor your build to how you like to fight. So there you go. Just wanted to quickly mention that. Back to the forest today. Also, that spider is scary as hell. What the hell are you doing, man? I mean, did I say you could walk up behind me and try and hit me with your axe? Because I'm thinking that I didn't. Did you just steal my eggs, Shadowblade? Did you just steal my eggs? Now, the outfit that I am wearing is part of the Crimson Legion, which is one of the 2 factions in the game. You've basically got your blue faction, your red faction. If you're wearing an outfit that represents them, you can freely world PvP with everyone else, and there isn't factions aside that, so you can communicate with the people that you're killing, which does make for some amusing situations. But you can see from the quest that I'm doing, nothing crazy is going on here. There are occasional instances and solo instances with a little bit more challenge, but for the most part, nothing mental is going to occur. So if I get 5 stacks and then it does a load of damage. I mean, this is kind of cool, isn't it? All this water pouring down from above. It's nice to see while you're going around the place. We'll collect that all lovely jubbly. The actual sound is pretty good. The voice acting is kind of naff, but it's translated from its original Korean, so it's not that bad. It's serviceable. Good old Bernie spiders. I mean, as you would expect in these type of MMOs, the enemy models are all top-notch. They have good animations, interesting moves that they use against you. It is generally completely and utterly fine, so you're not going to really have a problem there. There are a lot of reused enemy types, like Big Dude with Axe and Floaty Dude get used a lot, just to name 2 that are in the immediate area, but it's not that crazy. And again, I keep coming back to the parallel that the combat system is just so engaging and so much fun that really it doesn't matter so much. Now, I don't want to say like, it's fine if the rest of the game's terrible, because the combat's so much fun. I mean, there's still no excuse to not make a good... Hey, that's my Force Master tutor who follows you around. So he sent me a letter. Who's attacking me? Who the hell's attacking me? I'm watching. Oh, Jesus Christ! Just turned around and a giant spider's in my face! Holy fuck! Alright, let's accept that. God damn. So he sent me a letter on a bird, which was quite nice of him, isn't it? It's very, very enjoyable. Oh my god, that was crazy. So we'll charge at him, throw some magic missiles, and instantly dead. You can really do some damage output with this class. It's really quite nice. So yeah. I mean, there's not much to say about this game. I mean, for an MMO, it's actually really not that complicated. I mean, you've got systems like powering up your weapon by sacrificing other weapons to it as you go forward. You've got your accessories, which are your stats, because your main outfit doesn't do any because it's just for the look, so you can very much get fashion and soul all up in here, which is nice. You got loads of little items that help, like repair hammers and bag extensions, but it's all very standard affair for an MMO. And then you've got these shields, or as we like to call them, pizzas, that you collect, and if you complete one, then you get a big stat boost. As you can see, I'm getting lots of crit from this, which is nice, and you find these all over the place, and it's a nice way to customize your character. It really, really is. So, for example, if I go down to here, the Foshi Pyres, and this is how you teleport around. You pay a little bit of money, and you can go to anywhere you visited. You channel all of this, and then, probably one of my favorite things in the game, excuse me, my people need me! And then you just drag it into the sky, like, what up, I'm Superman now. You got a problem with that? Well, you can bring it up with my super lawyer. I don't know who the super lawyer is, but, you know, you've got to pay your respects, you really do. Okay, so, running on and on. The loading screens and actual time the game takes to open is fairly lengthy. I feel like it's a little bit unoptimized, but shouldn't be... It's not too much of a problem. So you see this is the first one that you get to, and basically you walk up to it, spin that wheel, and depending on what you land, that's what you get. So how do you get the essence? There's an enemy that spawns down here in the cemetery that's an elite that gives you it, and then jobs are good, and you spin that wheel and see what you get. And you get things like these weapon chests, which then require you to use a key to open, and then you better hope that you get the weapon for your class and not another one. And there's a lot of compound RNG. Now, this is by no means required. It just gives you powerful stuff. You can move on and use other equipment that you find, but it does encourage a system whereby you get very frustrated with poor RNG. But again, it's not required and it's optional, so it's hard to get too frustrated about it. Oh, I'm trapped here for a whole minute. No, not a whole minute. Anything but a whole minute. The world itself is fairly large, certainly not as large as other MMOs, not by a long shot, but you got your snowy area, you got your desert area, you got your foresty area. It's got the usual areas you'd expect covered, which is fine, you know, it's really not a big deal. And here we have the elite that has spawned. So a lot of us are currently fighting it, and no, it doesn't matter who tags it, so it's at least got that system going on. A lot of my Crimson Legion buddies all over here, so I don't have to worry too much about any PvP. I mean, I was hoping to find someone to attack, but I guess the cards are not on the table, but I can at least show you the spin that wheel. So he is dead, and we got 4 of his essence. So let's head back up to the village and sprint and jump our way to glorious victory. Here we go. There is something very satisfying about the movement being as fast and as jumpy as it is. So, boom, oh, what is up? I'm going to the other wheel. Oh, the other wheel's already taken it anyway. Okay, I guess I'll just wait my turn and spin that wheel. Nope, still failing. I really hate you, Akano Himajima. I'm really not partial to you. And here we go, any second, I'll be allowed to spin this wheel. Spin! And then I got a Stalker Soul Shield, which is the pizza. So there you go, you keep going through that process until you get what you want to get from it. It's alright, it's a little bit of fun, it's certainly interesting. I can finally go back to where I was questing, so that is lovely. But yeah, as I was saying, as far as everything goes, it's a very simple MMO. You do very simple quests, get to max level, and then compete in ranked 1v1 and 3v3 arena battles, and basically gain glory, fame, and damn sexy, cool-looking armor in the process. And that's very appealing in its own very simplistic way, and Blade & Soul has got that down to a T. I think it's an MMO that is so nichely targeted at one specific audience, the PvPer, but it does that so well that it definitely can get away with really letting everything else be lackluster. And that's not often that happens, but I really can't stress enough how much fun it is to just fight in this really active, dynamic system and just enjoy the combat in this world. It's really quite unique and really quite compelling. I'm going to change channel on the off chance I find a member of the opposing faction, but I doubt it's going to happen. Most people tend to not wear their PvP gear because they're little bitches and don't like ending up in fights while they're questing. I mean, really, just come on now. So, fortunately, I can't show you that, but I probably will do later on. But yeah, there's not really much else to say. It's a very simple MMO to explain. It looks good where it needs to. Its combat's fantastic, its PvP's fantastic, everything else kind of sucks. Done. If that appeals to you, get on it. We'll be playing it for a little while, and if you guys want to play with us, that is completely fine. And yeah, I will have a little log out then and show you. Oh, this is cool, to be fair. You get like a TLDR of everything you did while logged on, which is kind of nice to see. But I'll give you a little look at the, Jesus, the armor in this game. Oh, man. I mean, unfortunately, you can't play the game one-handed, so that's probably a design flaw, really. We'll have a look at the races and classes so you can get an idea of what you are in for and what your options are. So this is character select, that's my Force Master as we saw. Let us create a new one. And actually the character creator is very good. It's one of the big highlights about this game. It's almost as good as Black Desert's, and it does look very swish. Like the bronze dragons in the background, the water that they're stood in, the animations they do when you select them, the armor preview. It seems very cool. And is it just me? Like, this is just a plain white row. I say plain, but, you know, it's pretty plain. And then the female just gets this really badass-looking thing. It kind of happens along all of them. So we go on Kung Fu Master. We get this cool jet black with blue, this really popping against it for their outfit. Then we go to the male. Oh, I'm in pajamas. I'm in some pajamas that I tied some rope out and put a face on. Oh, that's nice. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like there's some discrepancy. Either way, we got the Jinn, which are your humans. So your male and your female, you know, your basic humans. You got your Gon, which are your big race. They are just big humans. Literally just big humans. Then we got the Lin, which are your little animal, just people, dwarves, that apparently needs to happen if you're going to make an MMO. So there we have it. And then we have the Yun, which are an all-female race of what are effectively the elves of this game, if I was going to compare it to more traditional fantasy. I don't know where the male of the species has gone. I guess they were really irritating and just got wiped out, so sucks to be them. Class-wise, we have then the Assassin, the Master of the Shadows, the high burst damage, squishy, sneaky, tricksy class. You get what you think of when you see Assassin. There's lots of information about each class. You got your Blade Master, your Jack of all trades, kind of good at everything, but not amazing at any one thing. They're a good all-round class, especially for a beginner. And you got your Kung Fu Master, all about grapples, punching people in the air, holding them down, and just pummeling them into submission with your bare fist enhanced by just crazy-looking knuckle dusters. Then you've got your Destroyer, which is unique to the big guys, the whole, I have an axe the size of you, come at me! And that looks pretty good. Excellent combat attire there. No, really, very, very well done combat attire. Then we have ourselves the Summoner. Yes, there are class race restrictions, so you have to kind of deal with that. They have a pet cat that kung fu's people for them while they stand there firing nature spells. I don't know either. It's a waste of potential for a class based around summoning, but I guess it's alright for some people. And then you've got the Blade Dancer, which is again unique to them. It's kind of like an elemental sword master. They use fire and frost with their sword and do a lot of cool things, to be fair. And then finally, we have ourselves the Force Master, which I am, the magic, the fire and frost, all of that good stuff. So, yeah, there you have it. Let's actually go into creation and have a quick look. So you got your environments, which is always nice. You can do your poses. You can view them in various outfits. You've got your voices going on. You've got lots of little options. You can even change the frickin' lighting on them, which is kind of nice. Like, for example, maybe we need more moody lighting to really see my character pop. And then you can actually put in the base height of other races, which is a very neat way of comparing everything. So I do kind of like that. And then you've just got loads of various customizations, all the sliders in the world, and you can really make it exactly how you want to. It's really, really exemplary as a customizer. So there you go, guys. Blade and Soul in as good of a nutshell as I can put it forward to you. A very interesting MMO with a very interesting combat system and not much else. My name has been Rage. Let me know what you think. Like if you enjoy this and subscribe for more. I'll see you next time. Oh, good boy.